Hey, Facebook Live, what's happening? Owen Conflenti here with you. Good morning. It is a Thursday morning. Everybody's still staying at home or out there working safely. You know, all the children are home from school for the next, well, at least a month, right? And I think most of us parents have decided that it's probably going to be the rest of the school year. We haven't heard that officially, but that's just my opinion. As a parent, I think we all kind of share that, or at the very least, we have to be prepared for that to happen. Today is a special day. You know, we've been doing Storytime since, well, really since the stay-at-home order. This was something cool we thought we'd have some fun with. But today is unique because in addition to being April 2nd, this is World Autism Awareness Day. So all of us here at KPRC2 are proud once again to partner with Autism Speaks, the organization that helps support so many families across this area. My friend and colleague Britta has worked with Autism Speaks very closely because of her own personal connection to autism. As you probably know, one of her amazing sons is on the spectrum, and Britta has made it her mission to be an advocate, not just for him, but for all the families out there. And fortunately, there are people like Britta who are open to sharing what they learn to help others. Now, that includes, as we say, Britta is our spokesperson, if you will, here. I mean, she's the one that really brings the story to life, but literally bringing the story to life, a local mom and son who wrote a book together. And we're going to read it today on Facebook Live. So the book is called Grant the Jigsaw Giraffe, Different is More. All right, now this was written by the local mom, as I said, Julie Coy, and illustrated by her award-winning artist son, Grant, who is autistic. The book is published by Longtail Publishing, so we want to thank everyone for allowing us to come into your homes today, and to the publisher, and to Julie, and to Grant for allowing us to share this story. And again, for World Autism Awareness Day. So we ready? We got TikTok Live going, so I know maybe we've got some kids on all the different platforms ready for this beautiful story here. Okay, and by the way, there's a cool picture of a forward by Dr. Temple Grandin, and he's teaching. We got a picture here in the beginning. We've got some a little bit, looks like a picture of Grant here in the beginning. So if you get a copy of this book from Longtail Publishing, you'll have this in your own hands, and it's a beautiful story. So here we go. You guys ready? This is an exciting day at the city zoo. A new baby giraffe has just been born. His name is Grant. Mama Jules checked Grant over and adored him from his head to his hoofs. But something was different. His spots weren't spots. They were puzzle pieces, all jigsaw and brown. He is something special, and I love him just the way he is, Mama Jules said. One day, Miss Judy, the macaw, flew in to welcome the baby giraffe. Miss Judy could talk and sing. We all have talents like Miss Judy, we just have to find them, said Mama Jules. Miss Judy admired Grant and said, "Puzzle pieces instead of spots? How unusual, but beautiful." Yes, he looks different than the other giraffes and sometimes acts different, but he has talent, said Mama Jules. As Grant grew, his favorite thing to do was to admire the colorful trees, plants, flowers, and animals. "Mama, how do I find my talent?" Grant asked one day. "What inspires you, Grant?" she asked. "I love colors," said Grant. "Look, right here. How can I make these colors?" He studied the beautiful flowers. Mama Jules smiled and said, "Grant, those are the colors of nature. Nature is art." "Art?" asked Grant. "Yes, an artist uses a paintbrush to create the colors of the world," she explained. "But I have hooves. How will I hold a paintbrush?" she asked. She said with a smile, "You'll find a way. You're special. You're not less. You're more. Miss Judy will take you around the zoo today to look for inspiration." Along their walk, they came to the orangutan village. "What brings you out this way?" asked Tom. "I need inspiration. I want to paint beautiful, colorful masterpieces. but I can't hold a brush because I have hooves, and my body is a little awkward," Grant said sadly. "Well, Grant, I know something you can do that would be awesome," said Tom. "Would you help me out with those yellow bananas high up in that tree? My swing isn't quite what it used to be." "Yes, sir. My neck can reach far and wide." Grant stretched his long neck and shook the bananas loose. Tom shouted, "Yahoo! Now that's talent." "Grant, finding your talent takes time and effort, like a jigsaw puzzle." "Yes, you're different, but not less. You're more. Thanks for helping out an old guy like me," said Tom. While strolling down the lane, they met a beautiful peacock. "Hello, friends. What brings you out this way?" asked the peacock. "Colors. I need inspiration," said Grant with excitement. "Well, I can show you some beautiful colors," said Peacock. Peacock slowly spread his tail feathers. "They are my masterpiece," he said. Grant admired the beauty and the texture of all the colors. Peacock said, "Grant, you know, you have a masterpiece too. Your puzzle markings are unique and beautiful. Yes, you're different, but not less. You're more." Grant and Miss Judy approached the panda village and saw a baby panda sleeping. "Oh, hello," said Panda. "Did we wake you?" asked Miss Judy. "No, I was meditating. I need to find my creativity to solve a problem." "Creativity? Like an artist?" asked Grant. "Yes, exactly," said Panda. "So what seems to be the problem?" asked Grant. "Well, you see, those delicious red apples hanging in that tree, they look so good to eat, but Mother says I'm not to climb the fence," Panda sighed. "I will help you out," said Grant. He walked over to the fence and, using his long, sticky tongue, he plucked some apples for his friends to enjoy. "Eureka! Problem solved! Grant, you have a talent and you are creative. Yes, you are different, but not less. You're more," said Panda. Grant and Miss Judy made their last stop at the owl sanctuary. "It seems you're looking for something," said the wise owl. "How did you know?" asked Grant. "I heard about you from the other zoo animals," said Owl. "You heard I want to be a talented artist, but that I can't hold a paintbrush because I have hooves?" asked Grant. "Grant, there are many ways to paint a masterpiece. Your hooves and everything you might be just what you need. Everything about you might be just what you need," said Owl. "You'll find your inspiration and it will be special, just like you. Grant, you're different, but not less. You're more." Each day, Grant searched for ways to become an artist while using his creativity, his physical abilities, and his unique beauty and inspiration. One day, while walking along the zoo fence, Grant saw something he had never seen before. "What is that?" asked Grant. Miss Judy flew in for a closer look. "Recycled magazines. That's trash. It's not at all pretty. Look at all the colors. I know just how to reuse this recycled paper," he shouted out. Grant needed the perfect canvas. Being creative, he chose the white fence, and then he thought, "How will I tear all of this paper?" Then he thought, "Oh, my hooves, yes!" Piece by piece, he ripped the paper and placed the colors into piles. Then he used his sticky tongue to lick the paper and his long neck to stroke the paper onto the fence. He worked on his art for hours. Miss Judy couldn't believe what she saw. Soon, Mr. Becker, the zookeeper, came by and peeked over the fence. He asked, "What are you working on, Grant?" "Recycled art," Grant shouted. "What a great idea. And you're helping the environment. Looks like you're just about out of paper. I'll spread the word and gather up more recycled materials for you." The zoo announced a recycle drive for Grant's eco-friendly project. Schools, neighborhoods, and businesses had puzzle drives and filled recycle bins with calendars, wallpaper, and much more. "What are you going to call this art, Grant?" asked Miss Judy. "Well, I'm using cool colors, cool shapes, and cool textures. I will call my art collages," said Grant with a smile. Mr. Becker was curious to see how Grant used the recycled materials. He walked behind the fence and could not believe his eyes. "Wow, Grant, it's a masterpiece. You're a talented artist indeed. Let's have an art exhibit. It will be for all to see," he shouted. Mama Jules was there to support and encourage Grant. She always knew her son was going to do something amazing. People from all over the city came to see Grant's masterpieces. They were proud to be part of his recycling project and share his artwork all around the world. Grant found his talent and inspiration thanks to his zoo friends and an eco-friendly environment. Grant named each piece after his friends: Tom, the Gentle Giant, Peacock Lane, Baby MMOB, Caribbean Owl, and Miss Judy. Grant used more than 60,000 pieces of recycled materials at his exhibit: magazines, wallpaper, calendars, posters, beads, hairpins, jewelry, pressed wood, stationery paper, business cards, and, of course, puzzles. Grant, the Jigsaw Giraffe, made such an impression throughout the world with his eco-art project. He received the Best Recycling Program Award for his dedication to teach others to be environmentally responsible and to keep our earth green and clean. Grant knew he was different, but that didn't stop him. He chased his dream and became a talented artist, every day reminding himself, "It's not what I can't do, it's what I can do that makes me more." And as I mentioned before this story, we were connected with Grant and Julie through our own Britta Merwin. And Britta had the chance to talk to Grant and his mother about their ongoing efforts to create stories, to create art, and ultimately, of course, awareness about autism. And we want to share that interview with you now.
I'm Julie Coy. I am the author of Grant the Jigsaw Giraffe and Friends, and Grant the Jigsaw Giraffe, Different is More. The book is about, I wrote this book a couple years ago. It is about my son, Grant. If you heard about Grant, or if you know about Grant, you also know that Grant lives with autism. But the book is not about autism. The book is about Grant and his journey. Now you see this giraffe here. Grant decided to add puzzles on his giraffe. This is the original piece right here. Decided to add puzzles on his giraffe, not spots, because puzzles is what Grant uses in the majority of his artwork.
That's right.
So it doesn't necessarily represent the autism symbol, because the book is not about autism, it's about being different. It's just ironically, they go hand in hand. It's about just being born different, but finding your special talent.
And Grant, what is your favorite art piece? I mean, you've created many pieces of beautiful art that you sell within our community. What's your favorite piece?
That's a toughie because, see, whenever I'm making an art piece, every time I learn something new from making one art piece, and I can use that into my next one. So, choose between which one is my favorite art piece. I honestly, it's really hard to choose just one. But I'll tell you this much: if there was a fire, I'd grab whatever is closest to the door.
And Julie, you know, one of the common themes in the book is you're different, but not less. You're more. Can you touch on that and why that is so important?
Well, I heard that phrase from Dr. Temple Grandin, who's a good friend of ours, mentors us through what we live with, mentors us through our business. But I had reached out to Dr. Temple Grandin and asked her if I could use that phrase, because my impression, it came from her. And of course she said yes. Different, yes, but not less. And never has Grant been less, because I've always seen talent in Grant. I always said, you're more. Different, not less. You're more.
I love that. And Grant, for everyone that is joining us today and throughout the month of April and who happens to maybe meet you 6 months from now at the grocery store, what do you want them to know about autism, living with autism, and anything about spreading awareness and acceptance?
Well, living with autism, it really depends, because autism can have either low functioning or high function. I just haven't had high functioning autism. But when people see autism, I don't want them to just think that it's a bad thing. And autism is not a bad thing. It's just something we all have to work with. We have to live and, groom it. I mean, like, I have black hair. I live with it. And I keep it looking good. And I just do my best with my autism every single day.
But we live with. And I can say that Grant wasn't always this way. This is a lot of early intervention. There were times my friends didn't want to watch Grant. This is a lot of work that we see today. This isn't just overnight and he's fine. No. Early intervention, lots of repetition, and lots of love.
That's right.
And Julie, for parents that are just starting their journey, maybe have a child that they think might be on the spectrum or have already gotten the diagnosis, what do you want to tell them?
That you're very fortunate. When Grant was diagnosed with autism, it was about 2001, and we didn't have the resources we have today. You're very fortunate. Find these resources, find any help you can receive for your loved one. Now, Grant received Social Security very early on when he was about 6 years old. And that helped him even to this day. Even if you don't qualify for Social Security, get your name in the system. Because if something should happen, your name is in the system and it makes it flow a little faster in the event that you need to use it. So I always tell my parents, just get your name in the system, whatever it takes, and just plan ahead. Grant has a special needs trust fund. Just plan everything ahead, because you never know when it's your time. And I've seen this happen. We've lost parents and the children, the paperwork wasn't ready. Get your paperwork ready, always.
And Julie and Grant, especially considering the times that we're in today and the challenges that we're facing with this crisis and the pandemic, connecting to one another can be a challenge. What can you tell to parents and families out there the best way to get through this crisis if you do have a special needs child at home, or if you are caring for an adult that's on the spectrum?
For us, since Grant is in the young adult phase, I remember when he was a child, it was different, the things we had to pre-plan and have ready, activities, books, whatever it took to keep him active and keep him busy, not just watching TV and games all day. As a young adult, he's learning more life skills. Grant has learned to clean the house, wash the dishes, whatever it takes when he moves and transitions into his own independent living. So what we have been doing these last few weeks is Grant has been learning to sew. He's learning to sew on buttons. So
I love that.
The canvas, and I taught him how to use a needle. Right now it's a blunt needle, how to sew on buttons. And then he will transition and learn how to sew on buttons with a straight needle that's very sharp and on fabric. And the other thing, so I'm going to teach Grant to sew. So the other thing I'm teaching him to sew are face masks.
That's great.
Since I'm a seamstress, since I'm a seamstress by trade, it's like I tell my parents, they are a product. Our kids are a product of our environment. What do you do that you can teach your child to do as well? And life skills of sewing on buttons, sewing a straight line, I think is very important, because I know it's carried me a long ways throughout my life. So I'm going to be teaching Grant how to sew straight lines first. The other thing we've been doing and staying busy, so we started working on a book, and I'm always prepared, Britta. We started working on this book right here, Abigail the Brave Little Llama. This was like the beginning of March, and then, of course, the virus hit, so we had to put this book on hold. However, I was approached by a friend and asked if I would write a book about the pandemic. I said, well, I don't know if I can do that in time. Well, we did. We have a new book coming out called Zoo Closed Until Further Notice. And really, this book is about referencing the animals. How do I explain this book? This book is a resource book for our children. These are questions and information that our kids may be confused about. However, we touch upon it in this book. And, you know, how sweet when animals can tell their people friends, you know, we miss you, take care, we know what's going on, but we're waiting for you. So I wrote this book. It won't come out until next week. And the other thing we had to do based on the business, so we had to readjust what was going on. All of our shows canceled, everything canceled. Financially, the rug was pulled out from under us, and for a lot of people in the event industry. So we had to restructure everything, and now our books are going to be on ebook. So you can purchase our books as ebooks on our website. So right now, in the next few weeks, that's all we can figure out what to do with our product line. Because right now the inventory is just sitting. So we're just trying to be creative.
And Julie, what is the website in case parents would like to get that resource book, which is a great way to talk to your child, whether they are on the spectrum or not, about what's going on? Because it is a challenging thing and they might be a little scared. And to have your resource book would definitely be a great teaching tool to help guide them through this time. So how can parents find that book?
Yeah, so our website is Jigsaw, like a puzzle, jigsawgrant.com. jigsawgrant.com. So we have our books, and of course we have our little Jigsaw Grant on there as well. Yes, I think, you know, I could not believe I wrote this book in just a short time, but I had a lot of help. And these are questions and information, simple terms for a child to understand. And yet questions they may be afraid to ask.
Mm-hmm. And Grant, before we finish up today, what would you like to share with everyone at home about what you are going to be doing in the days to come? I know you're always looking for a new project. Of course, now you're working on the resource book. You have your sewing that you're going to be doing. But after we get past this little time frame that we're working through, what's your long-range goal? What's the next thing that's coming for you?
Well, once everything is finally passed, I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing so far, keep working on my art, keep learning new techniques to always add to my next art piece. And of course, get back onto the shows, you know, go out and about again, because I know we're all stuck at home right now. And of course, even though maybe stopping the videos after the life skills, I'm always going to be learning life skills. And that's exactly what people like me who want to live in their own place someday are going to need. So I'm always going to be learning. I'm really looking forward.
Always learning, yes.
I love that. And all of us are always learning, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Julie and Grant, we appreciate your time. We send you our best. And I hope the next time I see you, we're giving each other a big hug.
That's true. Yes. Look forward to it.
We're looking really forward to it.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed that. Another big thanks, well, to Britta, of course, but Julie and Grant, Longtail Publishing, for allowing us to share Grant's story. Grant the Jigsaw Giraffe. This is there's a parent's guide to autism, by the way, that's available if you need it at click2houston.com. I was just sharing the beauty of this. It is a puzzle for so many parents, in that situation with a child with autism, trying to figure out what the right mix of everything is going to be to get the right resources together. So it's a great analogy and a beautiful story, and I hope you go out and pick up this book. By the way, the World Autism Awareness Day has sort of inspired our click2houston.com art assignment today. The art assignment's inspired by Grant, who, as you heard in the story, makes incredible art out of recycled material. So we're calling on kids to make collages like Grant's art. I mean, do you want me to go back to it? What was it? I mean, everything from construction paper, recycled materials. I mean, anything you can find that you can, well, that the adults say is okay to cut up. I mean, don't grab the bank paper, Dad's bank papers or whatever. But whatever you can get together, make yourself a collage and then take a picture, upload it to click2houston.com, and we can't wait to see the wonderful collages. We've been showing it every morning on the morning show, so we'll show some collages tomorrow. And one more time, thanks to Julie, Coy, and Grant. And thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed Storytime. Be safe if you have to go out. I know it's weird, but we'll get through it. I'll see you tomorrow.